10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
Well, hello. What's up? Let me get some chitty chat pulled up here. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Now I got it. There we are. What's up? Ho, 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 ho. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. I think my... Hold on a second. Let me check something here. There we go. My screen was a little too dark. I mean, it's still kind of dark. I don't have a lot of light in this room. I used to have in my other house, I had a light like up on the ceiling that kind of shined down, that provided a little bit more light for the room. I don't have that here. So, you know, that's how it goes. Sorry. Apologies. There we are. All right. Give everybody a little bit time to get in the chat. Vulcan Rumble says you're an hour early. The announcement said you were going to be 10 Eastern. No, I said it for 9 Eastern. Like it even tells me in my little thing, it tells me I was a minute late to my chat. I don't know why it would say 10 Eastern. Because I wouldn't be doing one that late. I got to work in the morning, man. I got to wake up at like 4:15 in the morning. I'm not doing one at 10 Eastern. I got to be in bed at 10. Ugh. Anyway, what's up, early people? It did say 10. Michael Graves is saying it said 10. That's not what time I scheduled it for. I don't know why it would say 10. 'Tis not when I scheduled it. Oh, well, then I'm early. I don't know what the hell. I'm here already, so. I don't know why it said 10. I scheduled it for 9. Unless... Oh, I wonder if my freaking StreamYard switched time zones on me. Because I scheduled it for 9. But if it for some reason switched time zones on me, it would say 10 Central. I got to check the time zones on StreamYard. Because it's done that to me before, where for some reason it just changes time zones. So if the time zone was set to Central instead of Eastern, then it would have said 10 for anybody on the East Coast time. I got to check. That's got to be the only thing. That's the only thing I can think of that would have happened, because I set it for 9 o'clock. But if it was set for 9 Central, then yeah, it would have said 10. So sorry. Oh, let's see. Clapping cheeks till she speaks. By the way, fucking great name. Love that fucking name. The name is fucking awesome. I love it when she looks at me over her shoulder and screams, "Harder, Poppy." That's good. That's good. I like that. Gungas Khan, what's up, man? Says, how is everything going with y'all? I haven't tuned in for a few months because I've been busy smoking crack. Is Yankee still doing the 2-for-1 truck stop bathroom special? Last I heard, yes. But I don't know. You'd have to ask him. He does a chat every fucking night, so. You can ask him. He'll answer. Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. So what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? Everybody ready for the weekend? I don't have my weekend this weekend. It's just I got to work. But I should be off next. I'm off. Well, I'm off next. I hope I get a 3-day next weekend. I don't know if I do or not. I haven't seen my schedule yet. I think I do. I think I get a 3-day weekend next weekend, which will be nice. But I got to work this weekend to get that 3-day weekend next weekend. How many times can I say weekend in a fucking sentence? I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I'm going to kick back. Let me see. Oh, I'm getting a text message. Hold on. Oh, it's from Duke. Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't know. I thought I did, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, sorry. That's an inside thing with me and Duke. Inside Duke's anus. No. Gotta get this thing out of the way here. I got shit on my desk in my way. Let me move my stuff over here. I'm gonna move it to my other screen. There we go. So I can kick back and still look that way. What's up? I'm just gonna read comments tonight. I got no topics. Unless y'all got one. If y'all got topics, let me know. I got nothing. You know what? Duke, by the way, since you're here, I slept for 16 and a half hours after I got home from work yesterday. 16 and a half hours. Now, it did break it up a little bit. I woke up for like 2 hours early this morning. But yeah, I fell asleep around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Slept till 3 in the morning. Woke up, came into my office for a little bit, a couple hours. And then my wife woke up and was texting me, and she's like, "Oh, you weren't in bed." It woke me up, right? Because when I'm not in bed, she was like, I wasn't. She knew I had the day off. So she woke up at like 5 and I wasn't in bed, or like 4:45 or something like that. And I wasn't in bed because I just kind of popped up because I'd been asleep since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm awake. And, she's like, "If you're awake, come let's watch some TV or something at like 5 o'clock in the morning." And so I go back in there at 5. I go back into the bedroom and we put on, because we're watching the Punisher Netflix series. And we put on an episode and I immediately fell back asleep and slept till almost noon today. I went back to sleep after having slept from 4 yesterday afternoon to 3 o'clock in the morning, being awake for 2 hours. Went back in the bedroom, got in bed and sitting there, I was gonna play on my phone and watch Punisher. Immediately fell back asleep and slept till almost noon today. So I slept for like 16 and a half hours or some shit. It was fucking crazy. I hope I can sleep tonight, because it's gonna suck if I can't go to sleep. But I gotta at least try. But yeah, I have not slept that long in a 24-hour period in a while. Woo! Clapping cheeks till she speaks, says, "I'm formerly Taint Tickler 82. Okay, now I know who it is. I thought it was just somebody new. I like your names, dude. Your names are always creative. Gungas Khan says you should check out the game Helldivers 2. The devs are Swedes or some Nordic thing like that. So weapon details are good. Also has Carl Gustav launcher in the game that's fun to use. I've heard of Helldivers. Yeah, I haven't played it. Isn't that like a or am I thinking of, isn't it one where you got like mechs? Don't you have mechs or something like that in Helldivers? I've heard of it, but I've never played it. So I'm not sure. Everson says, what's the chance of change to the NFA that removes SBR and SBS restrictions? If I got to really think about it, like, I would love to say with all the stuff going on, because there's been a lot of changes at the ATF. They got a new lawyer, new head of the ATF, all that kind of stuff. I would love to say all the chances are good. I'd say 20% chance at best. 20% at best. Unfortunately, I wish it was higher. I really do. But I don't think that's. I think people are afraid for some stupid reason. I think people are afraid of. I don't know what exactly. I don't know what they think would happen. I mean, these are intelligent people that say they're pro Second Amendment. And so I know on a realistic level, they've got to know that loosening SBR and SBS or, suppressor or any of these restrictions wouldn't do anything to crime. So I'm not sure exactly if they're just afraid of political backlash or what. But I mean, 20% at best, unfortunately. So, Matt Buttworkle says, just keep the chat going until it's time to go to work. No, I got to go try and get some sleep. Everson says, now you see what living in a cold ass environment does to you. You start to hibernate. Hell yeah. I was saying this the other night. I have slept better since I've moved to Michigan than I have in the last decade living in Texas. And I've lost weight. I've lost like 10, 15 pounds since I moved here. Somehow. I don't know how. So I'm not doing anything other than getting more sleep. and I don't know. But yeah. Missouri Patriot says, have you watched Severance? I have watched the first season. I'm waiting for all of second season to come out so I can binge watch the second season. I liked the first season a lot. It was a good show. Weird show. And obviously the nature of the show, like the first season leaves a lot of questions unanswered, but answers a lot of questions and then opens the door for new questions, which is obviously why it got a second season. So I know I'm looking forward to season 2. Once it's all dropped, I'm gonna binge watch it. So Shadow Bear says, in Iowa for a weekend work trip, a cute girl taking bags off a plane, another at the rental car counter, and another at the hotel desk. Can confirm Iowa isn't real. It's a simulation. See, we knew that. So 19 Kilo says, have you thought about updating any of the prepping videos you used to do, or are you doing videos like that again? I would really like to do videos again, and this is something me and Duke have talked about, doing videos together. I would like to because I'm having a really hard time maintaining the live chat schedule that I used to do, which was 3 to 4 times a week, or 3 to 4 nights a week, with a 5th night occasionally for geek chats. And since moving here with my work schedule, it's been really, really hard to do. And I've been doing like maybe 2, guns and politics chat a week. And I feel bad. I don't just feel bad. I like doing stuff for the channel. I like talking to you guys. So, I've missed like the last 3 Monday night chats because I'm just on Mondays. I'm too damn tired to stay up that late to do a chat. So I would like to start figuring out how to do videos again prepping videos, gun videos. I have a list of videos that I would like to make. And I've got to kind of get it figured out how I'm going to do that, because one of the issues is I don't have the space I used to have at my last like 4 houses, you know, 3 houses, I guess, that I've had since I've been doing YouTube, where I could have like a bench and all that kind of stuff, to do bench videos and things like that. So I've been thinking about how to try and do that here at this house. I do have a deck that I could probably do videos on. I've got some stuff to do. The thing is, so I had kind of been getting my politics and gun conversation and prepping conversation, my outlet for the last 3 years or so, has been live chats. So I've gotten to talk to you guys about stuff and have those conversations I want to have, and share ideas and do all that kind of stuff that I like to talk about and like to do on my live chats, by doing just lots of live chats, 4 or 5 times a week. And that was my outlet for talking politics and guns and prepping for the last like 3 years. And with my job schedule here, it's just really hard to do. And so I guess I just have more of a drive to want to do videos now than I have for a while, because of that, because I don't feel like I've got the outlet. I also feel bad, you know what I mean? Like, I have a YouTube channel, and I don't like it when you guys are expecting me to do a live chat or do something and I don't do it. So I want to find a way to try and make up for that. So videos are the easiest way to do that. And as far as my setup goes, I already have, the camera and all the stuff, and making the videos from a technical perspective or aspect is not difficult, because I have the equipment I need to do it, because I already make videos for the Geek Chat or for the Geek channel. But those videos are easy and only require a space that's like 2 feet by 2 feet to make those videos. And those videos also don't require, to be honest, like I enjoy that channel and I enjoy that geek stuff, obviously, as you can tell behind me. But that channel doesn't require a lot of like reasoned thinking and stuff. You know what I mean? You're just talking about geek stuff. Whereas if I'm talking about politics and guns and prepping, and to me, that's a much deeper and more important conversation. So that channel doesn't require a lot of like my brain to do those videos. But I've got the camera, I've got the microphones, I've got all the stuff I need. I just don't have a space to do like the videos the way I used to here. You know what I mean? I used to have a big bench that I had where I could lay out guns and prepping stuff, and point the camera at it and do videos and that kind of thing. And I just don't have that here. So I'm gonna have to find a space that works to do that. And I've got text messages coming in. Oh, Duke's texting me. Okay, Duke, I got you. I see you. That sounds good. Because I do want to do more videos, because I've got like, I still want to talk about this stuff, even if I'm not doing as many live chats, you know what I mean? So I want to try to get back into doing maybe 1 or 2 little quick 5-minute videos a week. Just something simple, something easy, So, but yeah, I don't know about the prepping thing. So the prepping thing, if I do more prepping videos, since this is where the conversation started, you asking about prepping videos, it's I mean, to be honest, it's going to be some rehashed shit from older videos that I have, with maybe some like, I don't know, slight updates. But most of the old prepping videos I have, I think, are still very relevant. Even more so than like older gun videos and things like that, because with older gun videos, you know, there can always be updates. Like new versions of guns come out or new options come out. I did a lot of budget stuff about how to like build up an arsenal on a budget and things like that in some of my older videos. And a lot of those things don't really like apply anymore and can be updated because new guns come out and prices change and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with prepping videos, a lot of the prepping video stuff that I did, really the information hasn't changed. But it would be nice to put kind of a new face on those older videos, especially because when I was doing prepping videos, I don't even think I had a high def camera for most of those videos. I think I had a 720p camera the first couple of years I was doing YouTube. So, and a lot of those prepping videos were from the first couple of years. So it would be nice to update those videos, but a lot of the information is going to be the same on those prepping videos. The gun videos will be the ones that'll be different because so much has changed. I mean, you know, when I would do gun videos about, you know, how to start prepping for, you know, prepping up your arsenal, right? Like I would go through lists of guns and, you know, okay, this gun costs this much, this gun costs this much, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times I would, you know, talk about surplus guns because that back then, which was, you know, I started YouTube 15 years ago, surplus guns were still a phenomenal option for building up an arsenal. And you weren't getting the latest and greatest of whatever the hell it was, but you were getting really good, solid firearms that were really cheap. And the surplus market has just dried up so much since then. You know, it started drying up, I don't know, eight years ago, maybe. It was mid to late 2000 or mid to late 2010s. It started to really start to dry up, and it hasn't gotten any better. I'd say in, you know, by today's standards, the best, you know, quote unquote surplus guns out there are, you know, police trade-ins, but that's primarily just going to be handguns and primarily just going to be like Glocks and Smith & Wesson M&Ps. Occasionally you'll find something else, and occasionally we'll get imports in from some other country of, you know, a police trade-in gun or something like that. But very, very rarely is it anything other than pistols. And look, you guys know, I think your pistol is your most important firearm, hands down, because it's the one that has the highest likelihood of being there when you need it. So I put a high priority on pistols above everything else, right? So there is still a lot of options, even police trade-ins and imports and stuff like that. But when it comes to cheap stuff like that, there's not really any options for long guns. And really, when it comes to long guns, and I think this is part of why I've been hesitant to like do videos about like, oh, the best guns for however much money and stuff like that, is because it's like the boring answer. I mean, nowadays the boring answer to what's the cheapest way to build up an arsenal, like, and have all your bases covered. The simple answer is buy a PSA AR-15, buy a Maverick 88 shotgun, and buy a police trade-in Glock. Like, and you can get all three of those things for, I don't know, $800. And it's a boring answer. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of fucking video is that? There, I just did the video. You know what I mean? And I don't need to explain any of that. Like, I don't need to explain why your best budget option for a defensive rifle is a PSA AR. Everybody knows. Yeah, it's the best deal. And the AR-15 is the best option for a defensive firearm or you know, whatever, for a rifle, for a defensive rifle, period. Anyway, don't need to explain why the Maverick 88 is the best deal on shotguns, because it's essentially a Mossberg 500 for $100 less. You can pick them up for $200. Don't need to explain why a police trade-in Glock is the best deal in pistols, right? You can pick them up for $300 to $350. You know, and it's a freaking Glock. So, like, that's a boring video. And it's stuff like that, I think, that has kind of prevented me from making some videos too, is because I'm just like, man, what's the point in making a video? Everybody knows all this shit at this point. You know? I don't know. And I don't like doing videos necessarily about stuff that I don't genuinely like fucking believe in. I mean, I can sit there and do videos about whatever new fucking Turkish import fucking gun that, you know, everybody's talking about, right? Like, I could do that. A lot of people do that. A lot of channels, every time some new cheap gun comes to market, you know, they go out there and they do videos on it, why it's the latest, greatest, coolest fucking thing. And I'm sorry, most of the time it's not. Let's be real honest here. Most of the time it's fucking not. Most of the time the newest fucking what's the name of that company, that Turkish company that's releasing all these fucking guns, Tisus, right? They keep releasing cheap guns, and as soon as they release a new one, or right before they release a new one, you see, you know, 100 fucking videos from 100 different channels talking about how it's the latest, greatest, newest, bestest, baddest ass fucking thing and the best thing on the market for the money. And it's just not. It's not. I'm sorry. It's fucking not. Okay? There is no tit sauce, no fucking, and I see you out there, Tomcat, no fucking Canic, no fucking Taurus, and I love Taurus. Okay? No fucking other gun out there on the market that's going to be a better deal than a $300 to a $350 fucking police trade-in Glock. There's just not. I don't give a shit what any of these fucking channels say. Doesn't fucking matter. It's not true. If somebody comes to you and tells you the fucking new whatever the fuck, the new STG or the new tit sauce or the new fucking Canic or the new fucking, I remember when what was it, Mossberg dropped that little fucking pistol they came out with a few years ago, or whatever new cheap gun comes to market, and everybody fucking on their channel raves about how it's the latest and greatest and the best thing, and you should definitely spend your $300 to $400 on this. Fuck that. No, they're all fucking wrong. I'm sorry, they're fucking wrong. Okay? Please trade in Glock. Please trade in M&P. You want something a little different, something that dances a little more, right? Something that's got some accessories, fucking PSA dagger, right? Like, those are your three best deals in firearms, in handguns that exist. And it's been consistent for fucking, well, at least the police trade-ins have been consistent for the last decade. The daggers just really built up in the last 5 years or so, right? And like, you want, like I said, you want something good, but you're not sure what you like, police trade in Glocks, police trade in M&Ps, or a fucking PSA dagger. Pick one of those three. And it's not sexy, and it doesn't make for a great fucking video, and it's a boring ass fucking answer. Okay? But it's the fucking truth. And all these other fucking channels that sit there and pump out fucking videos every time some new cheap ass fucking gun comes to market, they're all fucking lying to you. Every motherfucking one of them are lying to you. Because it's not true. Because any of these fucking guns that have come out, okay, none of them are as good as a police trade-in Glock, a police trade-in M&P, or, again, if you want something that's going to already come with extra accessories and threaded barrels and able to mount an RMR on it, then go with a PSA dagger. That's it. And it's a boring fucking answer. And it makes for a boring ass fucking video, but it's the goddamn truth. There are not better options in handguns right now. And there haven't been better options in handguns for several years. I don't give a shit who imports what from where and when and how much somebody swears on a fucking, some new model of fucking Canic or some other gun that came out of fucking Turkey or some other gun that came out of fucking Croatia that's getting imported in. Or at this point, as much as I fucking love Taurus, whatever new gun fucking Taurus pumps out, okay, it's not going to be a better deal than a fucking police trade-in Glock, police trade-in M&P, or a fucking PSA dagger. It's just fucking not. And anybody who tells you otherwise is fucking lying. Or they're stupid. I don't know which. They're either lying or they're stupid. So I guess figure it out from there. That's also why I don't make the gun videos anymore. Because I mean, you know, for a long time, there really was a long period of time, for probably the first 10 years I was doing YouTube, that it was legitimate to have conversations about surplus guns and guns getting imported. And especially for the first several years I was on YouTube, police trade-ins were not a very big part of the market, and they were really hard to find. And occasionally, either JG Sales or more than likely AM Surplus would get a batch of them, but they'd be gone pretty quick. They weren't very easy to find. And so if you could get a hold of one, cool. But they also weren't as cheap either. The police trade-ins weren't as cheap as they are today. And they weren't as plentiful as they are today. So there was legitimately other really good options that were cheaper, that were also reliable, that made for good options. Taurus was one of them. You guys know, I mean, I still remain. I still have plenty of Taurus handguns that I love, that are great guns. And when I bought them, they were a great option. You know, they were inexpensive and really fucking reliable. One of my favorite handguns is a Taurus revolver that I've got sitting up here. It's not in my safe. It's up on a fucking shelf above my computer next to my Sig Nightmare and my fucking Beretta, right? Because it's one of my 3 favorite handguns. So I love Taurus. However, there's not really any good Taurus deals anymore that are better than a $300 Glock. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can get like a G2C maybe for $225, maybe $200 if you can find a used one or something like that. And they got the G3s, and there's some other ones out there in the $250 to $300 range and stuff like that. And those are still good guns, and I still like them. And if that's your preference, I'd still say, hey, good. It's a good deal. It's a good gun. That's what you want. Cool. Would I personally say it's better than spending the extra $50 on the Glock? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. So it gets kind of hard to make fucking videos about all these good guns and deals. I'm not one of these channels who's just a fucking gun commercial channel. It's that just like gets one of everything that comes out and then just fucking talks about the pros and cons of it. That'd be cool if I could afford to do that, or you know, some channels get sent the guns, and good for them. There's a lot of gun channels out there. One of my favorite gun channels is still Such. I love Such. Such is awesome. You know, and he gets like one of everything and fucking does a video on it and talks about the good, talks about the bad, all that kind of stuff. And it's really cool to just kind of get an overall review. However, Such doesn't sit there and then at the end of every video say it's the best thing you should fucking get, right? He's just like, this is a cool new thing that came out. Here's how much it cost, you know? So, but I don't do that. I don't buy everything. I wish I could have had the money to do that. That'd be cool, but it'd be a waste of fucking money to buy one of everything. But yeah, it's a lot of fucking boring answers, and half the gun channels on YouTube will just fucking, I don't know, make up a reason. That's the other thing. You know what it is? I know I'm going on a fucking all over the place with this answer to this one simple question that you asked, but I've lost the will to really sit there and try and come up with bullshit. And not that I ever came up with bullshit, but you know, sometimes you would do videos or be looking to, maybe you wanted to talk about a certain product. And so you'd find a reason to talk about that product. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it if you've never done videos. Maybe there's a new shotgun out, and like, you know that this shotgun's not better than this shotgun, but maybe it's cheaper, but maybe it's not as good. Or maybe it's as good, but it's not cheaper. Or maybe it's this, but it's not that. So you're like, well, okay, so I'm going to do the video on it because I just want to do a video on something new and cool and different. And I wanted to buy this thing, so I'm going to find a reason to make a video on this. You know what I mean? I'm going to find a reason to talk about it in maybe a different way. And so I'll talk about it from the opinion of, well, if you've got this much money to spend, this is a really cool option, and here's why. And maybe you know it's not the best option, but you fucking do the video anyway because you want to put content out there that's new and different from other shit you've done. So you find reasons to make fucking videos. And I think I certainly did that along with everybody else. You'd find a reason to make a fucking video, especially once people become used to you making, like I was making like 3 videos a week. You know what I mean? And I think I just lost the will to fucking like make videos about shit I didn't really care about, or make videos that I don't know. I just don't feel like making videos that are fucking pointless. You know what I mean? But I do think I've hit a point where a lot of my videos that I think had something good to say are so old now that I can put a new face on them and talk about them from a current perspective, whether that's, you know, best guns for $500 or certain prepping things, stuff like that. That all those old videos, people aren't watching anymore. People don't see anymore. People have forgot about them. If the handful of y'all out there that did watch them is awesome, but a lot of people haven't seen them. And I can do those videos again with a fresh kind of whatever to them, and they can be useful again. But at the same time, I have little fucking desire to do bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's why I've said for a long time, people, oh, you should do top this, top that, whatever. And people have asked me that in live chats. I'm just like, AR 12 gauge shotgun Glock. You know what I mean? Like, people always ask, like, oh, what's the best this? What's the best that? What's, you know, look, dude, it's real simple. If you're not getting ready for hunting, 3 best guns are going to be a fucking police trade-in Glock, a goddamn, you know, Maverick 88, and a fucking PSA AR-15, and that's it. That's it, and it's a boring answer, and I can only say that so many times in a fucking video. You know what I mean? And maybe I do a video on that. Maybe I do a video, one video. You know, the only 3 guns that you need. Maybe I do that video. And I'll do it once. And that's it. And there will be no other reason to do another video about what's the best shotgun you can get. I already told you in the last video. What's the best defensive rifle? I already fucking said it in the last video. What's the best handgun? I fucking said it in the last video. You know what I mean? That type of shit. I have very little desire to make bullshit videos. Which honestly is it hurt my channel a lot when I started leaning that way. Because people just want content, just a constant stream of content. Which is why I was doing live chats, which was fine. I like doing live chats. I like talking to you guys and actually getting like right then and there fucking feedback on whatever we're talking about. Videos are different. It's a whole different breed of thing. But anyway, now that I've way over answered your fucking question, ever so numb. Let me get the super chat here that Dino dropped in. He said, but Glocks don't have a grip zone. You're goddamn right they don't, because they're not made for fucking retards like Springfields are. Springfields are made for retarded people. Let's see. Let's get back to questions here. Tomcat says, M11A1 versus 229, which would you choose? They're the same fucking gun. It's the same fucking gun, dude. I mean, the M11A1 is in 9mm. Specifically, the 229 can be in 9 or 40 or whatever. And yeah, the M11A1 has like the fucking logo and shit on it and whatever else. Well, Well, they have made some differences. Didn't they update the rail on the M11A1? And then what else they do to it? I feel like they've done something else to it on the M11A1. Or am I thinking of the Mark 25, which is the 226 version? The M11A1 is the 229 version, right? I got to remember what changes they actually made. But I mean, from a practical standpoint, they're essentially the same gun. Now I have a 228, which is the precursor to the M11. The 228 was what was called the M11, and then SIG decided to actually put out an official M11. But they used to just call it the P228. Now they actually call it the M11A1 or whatever. The difference being, I think the M11A1 is made here in the United States. The 228 was West German. Although they did make there was some American 228s that were manufactured as well before they just started calling it the M11. I don't think the new M11s are the same as the old 228s. I think there are some manufacturing differences, but they're negligible. Anyway, honestly, like the M11A1 is cool, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, it might have a few little upgrades on it. I want to say the rails are different. It's got the logo stamp on it and shit, and it might have upgraded sights over the 229. But internally and from all practical perspectives, it's the same fucking gun as the 229. So it really just depends on how much money you want to fucking spend, to be honest. Because you're going to spend less on the 229 than you are on the M11. And it depends on what caliber you want. Like I said, if for some reason you want 40, which I don't know why the fuck you would, but if you want 40, then, obviously the 229. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to get one, I mean, I'd probably just get the M11, just because I think it does have a couple little upgrades on it, but you're going to pay for those. Also, if I'm remembering right, let me see. I'm trying to remember. I wish I had like a fucking M11 in front of me, which I don't. I just have my 228, which again, like I said, is the same gun, just upgraded. Did they upgrade the rails on the 229 when they did the rails on the M11? Because the new quote unquote M11 that's actually called the M11, not the 228 that the military called the M11, has the rails on it. The old school 228 did not have rails on it. Have they updated the 229 with rails, or is it still railless? I don't remember. Because that, if you want to run any kind of light or anything like that, obviously is going to be something that you want to take into consideration. And if the 229, the new versions of the 229 don't have rails, then you obviously want to go with the M11. But I honestly don't remember. So. Gungas Khan says, you should make brain rot Zoomer prepping content so we can expose the newer generations to prepping. For example, best skibbity blicky for when the oops try to phantom tax your gat. Oh, Jesus, fuck it. That gives me a headache. I don't know what the fuck you just said, but I bet my kids would fucking know what you just fucking said. Oh, yeah. Olmito Boger says, hey, maybe you can get Duke to put up that dollar store challenge video. Yeah, maybe I can. Fucker. Olmito Boger says, but police trading Glocks have cop cooties all over them. Yes, they do. Heavy B, what's up, Heavy B? Says, what do you think about the 5.7x28? I could give a rat's ass about it. I think that the round itself has started in a good place, and I think in a PDW package like the P90 makes sense for certain uses, but in general, for the average person, I don't think it's very useful. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. I'm sure it would be great as like a fucking home defense weapon or something like that in like a good small package. I don't like it in handguns. I don't like the 5.7 in handguns. I mean, I get why, like the FN 5.7 exists, but that round was not made to be fired from a handgun. It was made to be fired from, it was designed to be fired from a 12-inch barrel. It was designed to be fired from an SBR. That's what that round was designed to be fired from, to really have it be able to do what it was intended to do. And again, the round and the guns that the PDWs, like the P90, that the whole concept of that round was designed around was essentially to be a replacement for Uzis for things like Secret Service and other protection details, right? Like, it wasn't made to be an all-out like fucking weapon of war. It was made to be able to defeat body armor, and have something that could defeat body armor in a small package. Again, for something like a protection detail, whether it's Secret Service or bodyguards, things like that. Something small that you could hold a lot of ammo so that reloads were not as necessary, that you could fire from a 10 to 12-inch barreled SBR that would be easy to carry, easy to carry and fire in vehicles and in smaller spaces. And I do think in that aspect, like, it is an effective round when used for what it was originally designed to be used for. Outside of that, for the average person, I don't think it's a very useful round. And I think because of the fact that the guns themselves and the ammo cost way more than anything else that you might use for self-defense or home defense or concealed carry or anything like that, it kind of knocks it out of the whole ballpark of whether or not it's something, like, it's not something I would ever recommend to someone as a defensive round for home defense, or for, concealed carry if you wanted to buy one of the pistols or anything like that. It's just not something I would recommend, because I don't think it was not designed for that purpose. It doesn't, that's not where that particular round shines. So yeah, that's what I think about it. Randy Button says, read my last comment. Says, I still have to wait until Wednesday to pick it up, but I bought a Smith & Wesson 442 Pro Series so I can have something easier to carry than my Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Make sure and post some pictures on Discord when you get it in. Gugas Khan says, maybe do a video on best handguns for healthcare CEO population control. That would get me kicked off of YouTube, but that's fucking hilarious. Callan says, some guy ordered 2 different double cheeseburgers and a bag of fries from Five Guys. DoorDash driver left it on my porch. It was good. Good thing I found it before it went bad in the heat. Well, there you go. Good for you. Callan says, dude didn't have the first name as any of my close neighbors either. So dude just left it wherever. Good. Let's see. Tara says, ever had the most awesome rant, unrepeatable, just writing and ranting to find out the mic wasn't connected for some reason and it's all wind noise, or GoPro lost it? I actually have, and I couldn't even fucking tell you, because it's happened to me probably more than a couple times, where I would do a video or something, and like, I think one time I did it where I must have hit the record button twice on my camera. So I basically started recording and then stopped it. Either that or I'd turned it on and I forgot I turned it on. So I went to go turn it on again. So instead of hitting record, because it was already recording, it hit stop. I've done it before where I didn't turn my microphone on. But yes, I have done that before. And it fucking sucks. Calvin says, would you rather be forced to appendix carry a SIG P3 21st gen for a year or play one round of Russian roulette? We'll go with Russian roulette. Chris says, Turkish BRG-9 is an excellent clone of the XD Springfield. Which, to somebody who thinks the Springfields are good guns, I'm sure that means a lot. I think the Springfield XDs are trash, but... Calvin says, maybe we can get you to do that chili video. My wife's been bugging me to make chili. Old Man Barker says, 300 blackout I feel is more useful than 5.7 in an 8 to 10 AR barrel, more energy, longer range, etc. You know, I mean, 300 blackout. Well, again, it depends on what you're using it for, too. 5.7 in something like a 10 to 12 inch barreled P90 is for a PDW weapon, for like a protection detail or something like that, or in a small space, it actually is a really effective tool. I don't know that 300 blackout would be better than that in that particular situation. However, in every other situation, 300 blackout would be better. 19 Kilo says, thanks for the rant on my question. How do you feel about the 50 Beowulf and an AR pistol setup? I think it's fucking useless. Like, no, that's I'm exaggerating there. I think it's completely unnecessary for pretty much anything. So, 50 Beowulf's fine. I don't think it's not practical. It's ridiculously expensive, and it's not really giving you anything you can't get in other platforms and other calibers cheaper. You know what I mean? So I kind of think it's, and you know, to me it's kind of pointless because there really isn't anything that 50 Beowulf can do that other calibers can't do, and other calibers can also be useful for other things. 50 Beowulf is not really a well-rounded round. So it wouldn't be something I would be interested in. But never let me fucking deny anybody buying anything they fucking want. Like, if you fucking like it, fucking buy it. I don't think it's practical in any way for any particular use, but I mean, if you just fucking want to buy it to have fun, that's fine. If you're buying it for something specific, that's different, right? Like, because then you really need to sit down and examine, okay, what am I really getting out of this versus what other calibers, potentially in other platforms, may offer me. And if you really like the AR pistol platform, you know, what are you trying to get out of it with a 50 Beowulf? And what does that, what can you know, what other rounds might be able to accomplish the same thing, and then compare those rounds. And, you know, like 300 blackout, for instance, there's a lot of things 300 blackout can do in an AR pistol. In fact, it actually would be very effective in an AR pistol, and give you great performance and more capacity than 50 Beowulf. Let's see. Randy Butternut says P90's cool, but the trigger's horrendous. My brother has one. The trigger isn't great. I mean, really, there's not a lot of good triggers out there when it comes to bullpups, just because of the design, what you have to do. The AUG is probably the best one on the market for bullpups. I mean, they're okay. It's not the worst. The P90 does not have the worst trigger I've ever felt on, you know, like a rifle or something like. There's certainly worse triggers, but it is not great. Let's see. Tara says, I'm at a point where not much interests me, and what does is expensive, and I'm picky. I just buy a box of ammo here and there. Could give a fuck about another Glock clone. Yeah, I've talked about that ad nauseum, but like, who gives a shit about another fucking Glock? What I like to call not a Glocks. Who gives a shit? Oh, Ruger just came out with a blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's not a Glock. I don't give a fuck. Just buy a Glock. The fuck? Glocks are everywhere. They're cheap, and they come in a million different fucking calibers and sizes and all this shit. And is it a boring answer? Yes. It's a boring fucking answer. And like I say, if you want to add a little spice to it, buy a fucking PSA dagger. Because you're going to get a little more bang for your buck as far as like accessories and threaded barrels and, you know, getting it already cut for an RMR, and you'll spend a little less money to basically get the same thing. But like, you know, like it's just everybody's coming out with a not a Glock now in the last 10 years, and they're just so fucking boring, man. Like, again, like, who gives a shit? It's all the same shit. You know, it started off, you know, 10, 15 years ago where people started offering highly customized Glocks, you know, and you were getting like, okay, your Glock that would basically be redone. Remember, there was a lot of custom shops that were selling essentially refinished, redone, customized Glocks. You know, they would come with a lot of Lone Wolf or Storm Lake internal parts, and occasionally you would get, you know, something where they had, you know, done a new polymer frame for it, but essentially it was just a Glock made with aftermarket parts. And then that prevailed for a while. A lot of the Nada Glocks on the market were just Glocks that had been built from aftermarket parts, specialized, well-assembled aftermarket parts, but aftermarket parts nonetheless, right? And not knocking any of those aftermarket parts. I have used many of those aftermarket parts on some of my Glocks. And sometimes the aftermarket parts are better than shit Glock puts in their guns. So I'm not knocking that at all. But then all the big companies are like, well, let's just make our own Glock from the ground up. And that's all they've been fucking doing. And Taurus did it, and Ruger did it, Smith & Wesson did it, and everybody's fucking doing it. It's just a fucking Glock. It's a goddamn Glock. And until you get to the point to where all those gun companies start selling either their guns for considerably cheaper than a Glock, or dare I even say considerably cheaper than a police trade-in Glock, then I just don't give a shit. And PSA, honestly, is the only ones with the dagger that are pumping out something that, I mean, I've, you know, just judging by my own experiences, as good as a Glock and considerably cheaper than a Glock. Not cheaper than a police trade-in Glock, right around the same price for their base model. But for the upgraded one, is considerably cheaper than a new Glock, and you get extras with it that would cost you, you know, $200 to do to your Glock, or to buy a Glock with it, on top of the price of the Glock, right? So I really kind of hit a point where it's like, if you want a striker-fired polymer gun, as I say, get a police trade-in Glock, get a police trade-in M&P, because I like those as well. And there's tons of both out there on the market, and they're cheap. Or if you want something new that's going to have some add-ons, but it's still not going to be expensive, get a PSA dagger. All the other Nada Glocks I could give a rat's ass about, because I don't think any of them are worth it. Pat Wright says 5.7 goes through gold armor. Yeah, it does. It does. That's true. That's an upsell for it. Lily says, the train station near me is slowly getting me used to it in the past 3 days, but not sure I can handle this for another 360 days. You get used to trains, man. Lele says, Taurus isn't an official not a Glock because they don't use Glock mags yet. We'll see. Lele says, also wouldn't mind seeing High Point retool their carbines to take Glock mags. I mean, that would be nice. Maybe we've been talking, dude, people like me have been talking about, wouldn't it be nice if fucking, High Point would upgrade their pistols and their carbines to take, I mean, if not Glock mags, at least just a double stack magazine. People have been wanting that for fucking ever. So, NC Lucky says, I wish PSA would do a dagger and 10mm. I'd buy one. They might. Their daggers are selling pretty well, and excuse me, and pretty damn popular. So it might not be long before they do a 10mm version at some point. So just wait, and it might be a thing. So anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time for me, myself, and I. Okay, to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, I got to wake up at about 4:15ish in the morning to go to work. I'm working this weekend. I'm not going to promise you I'll be here on Monday. I'm going to try, but I've missed like the last 3 fucking Monday chats. It's just because Mondays I am tired as fuck all. So I will make no promises. I will try to do a chat on Monday. If I do not, please understand, okay? Please understand. So, but that's going to be it for me tonight. You guys have a great fucking weekend. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I love it every goddamn time. We will see you guys next time. As always, ladies and gentlemen, deuces yo, shall not pee in fridge and all that good stuff. And we will see you guys next time. Take it easy, guys.